Hi, thanks for tuning in. Today, what I want to talk about is developing a core value system. At the heart of building self-esteem, I really think that what's there is having a core value system. Hello, and welcome to Becoming Your Own Best Friend, a show about self-esteem with your host, Randy Haveson. Now, I ask people all the time, do you have a value system? And most people answer, of course I do. But when I probe a little deeper and I talk about what are your 3 or 4 core values, most people look at me like, I've never thought about it that way before. So that's what I want to explore today, is taking a look at all the different values that are out there, values from respect and honesty and diligence and resilience. I mean, there are so many that are out there that it's hard to when we say we have a value system, it's like there are 10 or 12 different values that we're choosing from to say this is my value system. But I believe that what's really important is to find those 3 or 4 values that really resonate with you. And that becomes your core value system. Now, when you have your core value system, the cool part about that is that when you have that intact, then life becomes a lot more simple because every decision you have in your life will come from that value system. So it makes things really simple. Like for me, integrity is one of my core values. So when I go to the store and the cashier gives me too much change back, then my integrity says I need to let that person know that they gave me too much change. It's not even a question. It's just something that I do because my core value is integrity, and it means that I live an honest and integrity-filled life. And when I get too much that I don't deserve, then I want to give it back. So I do that when I go to the counter, and sometimes I'll be with people. It's like, oh, they gave you $3 too much. I'm like, oh, I need to tell them that they gave me $3 too much. It's not even a question. For me, respect is one of my core values. And that means that I treat everybody that I see with respect. I don't look at someone and judge them by their shoes, by their car, by the uniform they wear, by whatever the criteria is that a lot of people get judged by, because you never know who a person is just by what's going on the outside. So with respect, what I've realized over my journey is that respect comes by self-respect first. When I have respect for myself, then I can have respect for others. It doesn't happen the other way around. Well, when I get respect from others, then I can respect myself. I found that just doesn't work, that it has to start with self. That's why self-esteem and all the things that come along with that start with the inside work. And that's what makes it so difficult sometimes, is that we look for these cures and we look for these things that are going to make us feel better on the outside, that if we go from the outside in, then we're going to feel better about who we are. But that doesn't work. It's just a quick fix. The true happiness that we can have in life comes by finding it inside and then taking it out, living from the inside out rather than from the outside in. And that's how I define that difference between ego and self-esteem. Ego is the outside tells me that I'm okay, so I must be okay. Self-esteem says, you know what? I'm okay. Hey, world, I'm okay. So respect for self, for me, is one of those key ingredients that helps me to respect those who walk in the world with me. Respect them for who they are and for what they bring. Now, when I see someone who's taking advantage of others and clearly living in an ego state world, I look at these people and I don't pity them, but I avoid them, actually, because those aren't the kind of people that I want to have in my life. I want to fill my life with people who are genuine and authentic and real, and they share their hurts as much as they share their joys, and they're real with what's going on in their lives. I have people ask me all the time, do you have a great day every day? And I say, no. I have maybe 10, 15 down days a year. And I allow myself to have those. And when I allow myself to have my down days, if I have enough respect for myself to respect the down as much as the up, then the downs don't last as long. And they aren't as intense as they used to be. So I found that by having respect for self, by living a life of integrity, then I'm happier. My decision-making process is much more simple. and I'm happy. So that's what I want to share with you today, is to find your own core value system. Now, one of the things I did, a friend of mine sent me a list. I was talking to him about this, and he said, oh, I have this list that I need to send you. And he sent me a list of 278 values. Everything from honesty to family to faith to, pretty much I looked over that list, and it's very comprehensive. So I am going to put that list on my website. So if you go to randyspeaks.com and go to the resource page, I'm going to put the document there that you can download so that it'll kind of be a cheat sheet for you, and look over them and find which 3 or 4 resonate with you. Now, again, I suggest you don't do this with anybody else. Do this just with yourself, because your core value system might be different from your spouse's, from your friends, from the people that you share it with. So again, self-esteem is very personal. Developing your core value system, that's very personal too. So you can share it with someone else. You can talk to them about, these are the things that I think are important to me. But it's important for you to develop it yourself and find the ones that kind of harmonize with you more than any other value. And here's the cool part. It can change. So even if you develop a core system tomorrow or today, this kind of motivates you to go develop your core value system. You do it today. Maybe you find that a month from now or 6 months from now or a year from now, your core values shift. And that's okay, because they're yours. There's no right or wrong way to do this. There's no right or wrong way to develop a value system. So it's very personal to you. So find the ones that work for you. And out of the 278, you're going to be able to find some that work. So, and again, I know for me that I played with a lot of them before I found the 4 that work best for me. And those 4 for me are respect, and I talked about that, and I talked about integrity. Another one that is a core value for me is courage. I realized a long time ago that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in the face of fear. So it's doing something even though we're terrified or scared of doing it. I'll give you an example. Doing a YouTube channel and a podcast was terrifying for me. And I put it off for a very long time because I was afraid that maybe I wouldn't be good enough, or maybe it wasn't going to be the quality that I wanted to put out there. And then I realized that if I'm really going to walk this walk, back to integrity, then I have to show people that even though this isn't perfect, even though I might not do the best YouTube channel or podcast that's out there, I'm being genuine with who I am, and I'm sharing the lessons that I've learned over my almost 60 years. And hopefully through the things that I've learned, it'll cut your learning curve down. And that's the whole purpose of this, to help you in doing that. So I found the courage. I still was scared. I still get a little anxious every time I do one of these. But you know what? That's okay. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to be a little scared. And I do it anyway. And that's where the courage comes from. I remember the time where I had to muster up the most amount of courage was back in May of 1984 when I hit bottom from my addiction. And I knew that I had to quit drinking, and I knew that I had to quit doing drugs. But it was so hard to do. And I had to find every ounce of courage inside of myself to say, you know what, I'm done with my life. And even though I could not see a life beyond that, I didn't know how to have fun sober. I didn't have friends who were sober. I didn't know what to do or how to do it or how to live my life without alcohol and other drugs. And it was really, really hard to do. And I found that I was unbelievably strong and had an incredible amount of courage, because that day that I decided that I was going to be done, May 27th, 1984, that was the last day, and I was done. And May 28th, 1984 is still my sobriety date. And I'm very proud of myself for what I've accomplished over the last 35 years. And if you would have told me back then that I'd be here doing something like this and talking about values, are you kidding me? No way. So I say this all the time in my presentations. If I can go from where I was to where I am today, you can do anything you want with your life as long as you stay out of your own way. And that's the whole key to this thing. is to stay out of your own way. There was that part of me still, after all this time, that said, oh, no, don't do that. What if you look silly doing it? And then I realized, wait a minute, you know what? The first time I got up and did a presentation in front of people, I was so scared. But I found the courage to get up on stage and I got a standing ovation from 1,000 high school students talking about alcohol and other drugs. And I got a standing ovation. It blew my mind. I was so scared before I got up there, but I had the courage to get up there, and it was an amazing experience. Still today, one of the 10 best experiences of my life. So finding courage for me is one of my core values. Even when I'm afraid to do something, I look at, is this really going to have value for me? And if it does, I'm going to do it. And I found that most of the time it pays off. Not every time, but most of the time it does. And if the worst thing I can say is, hey, but at least I gave it my best shot, then I came out a winner. So those are three for the values for me: respect, integrity, courage. And my fourth one is the value of honor. I want to be an honorable man. I want to be an honorable person in this world. And for me, what that means, when I think of honor, I kind of think of the Knights of the Round Table. I love the King Arthur myth. That's one of my favorite stories. Here's this boy who thinks he's just a squire and a stable boy, who actually is the king. And I listened to the story about when he approaches the sword and the stone and he pulls it out with such ease when everybody else is struggling, and he's almost embarrassed by it. He's like, oh my God, what did I do? And he put the sword back, saying, did anyone see that? And then over time, people said, hey, he pulled the sword out of the stone and he did it and he became the king, even though he was scared to death and he didn't think he could do it. But what he did was he surrounded himself with people who were men of honor. And people who have honor mean that they're true to their word. It means they do what's best for themselves and for those around them. I go out of my way to be of service to others. The other day at my little part-time Disney job, I saw this woman struggling with this basket that she was carrying. And I went up and I said, hey, can I help you with that? She was like, oh, thank you so much. And I picked it up and I took it over her car and I put it in the car for her. It wasn't even a question. It wasn't like I sat there and thought, should I go help that woman or not? It was, I saw her struggling and I got out of the van and I went over and I helped her because I want to be a man of honor. So I believe in chivalry, I believe in honor, and I believe in living that kind of a life. And when I do that, amazing gifts come my way. And I don't do it for the gifts. I do it because I enjoy being of service. I enjoy being a positive, productive member of our society. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for the people who are listening to this and watching this, that you're going to develop that core system and you're going to start living a life of more esteem and you're going to be able to put more positive energy back into the world. And what I found is that the more I put in, the more I get back. My life, I have so many blessings, it's crazy. And I'm grateful for every single one of them. I do not take advantage of the incredible gifts that I have. And every time I get an email from someone, because some of you are writing to me and I'm just blown away and I'm so humbled and honored by that. And people are asking me questions, and feel free to continue to do that. My email address is randy@randyspeaks.com, and more people are starting to subscribe to the channel. And it's pretty cool. And all I can say is thank you for giving me this opportunity. And it's funny, when I talked to some people about doing this episode today, I'm developing a core value system, and this is actually a presentation that I do. And some people will hire me to do this presentation, and I can do it in a full hour when I have an audience here. And when I told people I was going to be doing this as one of the episodes, like, why would you give away some of your material? I'm like, well, I want to give away all of my material. I mean, what I have is a gift, and I want to share that with people. And developing a core value system is such a simple way to really start on that journey that I don't need to just put it into a book or a presentation or something like that. It's something that I can talk to you about here in a very short period of time, 20 minutes or less, and give you those tools that you need in order to be happier and healthier and to live the life that you want to live. I have found that when you're on this path of self-esteem and living a life of core values, miracles happen. I guess that's the only way to say it. Miracles happen. So I want to hear about the miracles that are happening in your life. And I want you to be that example for others so that you teach others how to have their miracles so that we continue to watch this spread. And that's my goal here. And that's what I'd like to do. So on my website, randyspeaks.com, under the resources page, I'm going to put that values list. So just kind of go through them and see which ones resonate. And again, what works for you might not work for the person next to you, the person you're living with, but that's okay. You know, you can have different value systems, different core values, and still be together. I mean, sometimes you put them together and it just becomes even more bright. So, you know, find what works for you. And for me, it's about respect and integrity and courage and honor. And I have found when I put those together, I become a rich man. Get it? R-I-C-H, rich. It was weird how that kind of happened, but that's where I find my being rich, is by being a person of respect, integrity, courage, and honor. So it's up to you. And if it comes out that it's a cool little word, go for it. But if not, that's okay too. Just find the ones that work. And I hope you got something out of this. I hope this works for you. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, if you're struggling a little bit and you just want some personal advice, you know, right now I'm at a point where I can definitely do that. So feel free to shoot me an email and I will write back to you. So thank you for your time. I hope this was useful to you, and I will see you next week with another episode. Take care. Thanks for checking out the video. I hope you got something out of this. Feel free to click subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't already, and if you'd like more, you can click right here. All right, I hope to see you again. Take care, and if you have any questions at all, feel free to write to me, and I'm happy to answer them. Have a good one. Bye.